Have you ever heard a scream that didn't sound human? A sound so deep, so full of pain and despair, that it freezes the air and makes your heart stop for a second. Imagine being alone on a dirt road, somewhere in the Brazilian countryside. The full moon lights your path, crickets sing, and the wind moves through the trees until everything goes silent. And then the sound, long and piercing, ripping through the stillness of the night, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. Some say it's just the wind. Others say it's the Bradador, a lost soul condemned to wander through fields and forests, screaming for something it will never find. Its wail is said to be the echo of someone's suffering, a person who died violently and whose spirit never found peace. But what is that scream, really? A story made up to scare travelers, or proof that some souls simply refuse to accept the end? Brazil is a land filled with ancient voices, stories passed down through generations, told by firelight on farmhouse porches, or along lonely dirt roads swallowed by darkness. And among all those voices, one stands out, not because it's told, but because it's heard. The scream of the Bradador. This legend was born mainly in the northeast and parts of the central west, where the dry lands seem to hold echoes of everything that's ever happened there. Drought, struggle, death, and mystery. For the old folk, the Bradador wasn't just a tale, it was a warning. They said that hearing his distant cry meant tragedy was coming, a storm, a death, or something far worse. But no one ever knew who the Bradador really was. Some believed he was the spirit of an innocent man, murdered unjustly, whose pain was so great that his soul could never rest. Others said he was the ghost of someone who lost everything, family, land, hope, and whose grief became eternal. His cry, they said, was the living memory of that pain, echoing night after night, as if the land itself were mourning with him. Over time, the legend spread, changing shape from town to town. In some villages, they described him as a tall shadow covered in rags, wandering the roads. In others, there was no body at all, only the sound, a chilling scream cutting through the dark. Curiously, similar tales exist in other parts of the world, wandering spirits that cry for justice, for lost love, or simply because they refuse to be forgotten. But the Bradador, he's ours. He's the embodiment of sorrow and solitude, feelings the Brazilian Backlands know all too well. So, if one day you're traveling down a lonely road, and you hear a scream that seems far away, yet chills you as if it came from right beside you, pray, because it might be that the Bradador has found you. They say it all began in a village forgotten by time, surrounded by dry stones and the harsh Caatinga. There lived a simple man named Joaquim. He worked the fields, cared for his family, and, like everyone else, fought against drought and fate itself. But on one night of blood and injustice, everything changed. The old folks tell that Joaquim was accused of a crime he didn't commit, stealing cattle from a powerful landowner in the region. With no proof and no defense, He was beaten and left to die, tied under the scorching sun. Days later, they found his body, dry and lifeless, but his face was frozen in a scream. From that night on, people began to hear the sound. At first, it was just a faint murmur coming from the hills. Then, a deep, haunting cry that tore through the wind. No one knew where it came from, but everyone felt the same thing: fear. Mothers locked their doors before nightfall. Cowhands avoided the long paths, and travelers who dared to cross the deserted roads spoke of the same terror, a human cry, filled with agony, calling out for justice. A H H H H H H H H H H H, a sound so powerful it scattered cattle and made dogs crawl under porches. A local priest once tried to perform an exorcism on a hill where the cry was strongest. During the Mass, the wind stopped and a strange stillness took over the place. Then the church bell began to ring on its own, and everyone heard it. The scream, loud, desperate, as if it came from deep inside the earth itself. The priest fell to his knees and swore he felt the ground tremble beneath him. From that day on, no one doubted it anymore. The Bradador wasn't just a story, it was a presence. As the years passed, new versions spread. Some say the scream always comes before tragedy, like the warning of a soul trying to stop what's to come. Others believe it's not a warning, but the cause of the misfortune itself. On nights of a full moon, some swear they've seen a silhouette walking across the hills, chest raised, face turned to the sky, screaming so loud that the sound seems to tear through the world of the living and reach the realm of the dead. A man who never stops screaming, a scream that never ends, and a question no one can answer. Is he crying out for vengeance or for forgiveness? Over time, the Bradador stopped being just a farmer's tale and became a mystery many swear they've witnessed. Reports are scattered across Brazil's interior, especially in the Pernambuco Backlands in Paraíba, and in northern Bahia, people who heard the cry in the dead of night. A truck driver said that one night, while crossing a deserted road, he heard a scream so loud he thought he'd hit someone. He stopped the truck, got out, shone his flashlight into the brush. Nothing, no body, no sound. But when he climbed back into the cab, he heard the cry, again this time right behind him. Old residents of rural villages also tell of nights when the sound seems to circle the houses, as if the Bradador walks around, searching for something or someone. Dogs howl, oil lamps flicker, and the wind grows heavy, almost solid. In 1997, a group of young people on a farm in the interior of Sierra recorded audio that they claim captured the Bradador's cry. The recording was analyzed and, to this day, no one has explained where it came from. The frequency was human, but there were no echoes, no signs of tampering. The sound started faint and ended with a scream that made your ears ache. Some researchers say the phenomenon may have natural origins, wind vibrations between rocks, nocturnal animal sounds amplified by the Serto's geography. Others insist there's something more, Because the Bradador is not only heard, he is felt. Witnesses describe sudden chills, difficulty breathing, and the sense of being watched. It's as if the sound passes through the body and touches something unexplainable, long-buried pain, a forgotten fear, banned, and so the mystery remains. Is the Bradador a lost spirit trapped in the world of the living, or merely the echo of human suffering that never dies? Maybe the cry keeps echoing because it's the reflection of what still screams inside us. They say the Bradador screams because he cannot be forgotten, that his voice reverberates through valleys and hills as a reminder that not even death silences the pain of injustice. But what if that voice doesn't come only from outside? What if the true cry is inside us? Think about it. How many times have you felt an inexplicable emptiness, a deep anguish, as if something screamed in the depths and you simply couldn't quiet it? Perhaps that's what makes the Bradador so terrifying. He mirrors what we try to hide: loneliness, loss, regret. He is the sound of what remains unresolved, still begging for peace. On the quietest nights, when the wind stops and the world seems suspended for a moment, some swear they hear the distant echo of a scream. Maybe it's just the wind, or maybe the Bradador is still out there, wandering among us, looking for someone to listen to his pain. If one day you hear a sound from nowhere, strong, human, desperate, don't try to understand it. Just respect the silence that follows, because sometimes what screams doesn't want to be found. If you liked this story and want to keep exploring mysteries and legends that haunt our world, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Here on Urban Secrets, every week brings a new secret, a new voice forgotten by time, waiting to be heard again. But until then, if the wind blows strange tonight, listen closely. It may be just the wind, or it may be the Bradador calling for you.